NATO isn't just a treaty, it's the reason major wars are avoided. So, what happens if the USA or the EU steps away? Not internet panic, not political slogans, real-world consequences. Because NATO isn't just a military alliance, it's one of the main reasons the global system hasn't collapsed into constant large-scale war. And if one major pillar disappears, the effects wouldn't be instant explosions. They would be slow, dangerous instability. NATO exists for one simple reason: deterrence. Its core promise is Article 5. An attack on one member is treated as an attack on all. That single idea is why Europe hasn't seen a major war between powerful nations for decades. But NATO isn't just a promise on paper. It's shared intelligence, joint military command, missile defense systems, logistics, satellites, and rapid response forces. And two actors carry most of that weight: the United States and the collective power of the European Union. Together, they form the backbone of NATO's military, political, and strategic strength. So, what happens if one of them walks away? Let's start with the most extreme scenario. If the United States leaves NATO, the alliance instantly becomes weaker, not symbolically, structurally. The US provides the largest military budget in the alliance. It controls global logistics and rapid troop deployment. It supplies advanced intelligence and surveillance. And it provides nuclear deterrence that Europe cannot fully replace. Without the US, NATO still exists, but it becomes slower, less coordinated, and far less intimidating. European militaries are strong individually, but NATO works because they function as one system. Remove the US, and that system loses its backbone. Countries on NATO's eastern edge would feel exposed almost immediately, not because invasion is guaranteed, but because uncertainty appears. And in geopolitics, uncertainty is dangerous. Article 5 would still exist on paper, but trust in it would drop. And deterrence only works when everyone believes the response is guaranteed. Once doubt enters the system, the balance changes. Now let's flip the situation. What if the European Union steps back, fragments, or stops coordinating through NATO? Europe does not function as a single military power. Some countries have advanced armies and strong defense budgets. Others rely almost entirely on NATO protection. Without EU-level coordination, defense becomes uneven. Some countries would rearm rapidly, others simply wouldn't have the resources. Command structures would weaken, decision-making would slow down. Instead of one coordinated response, you'd have dozens of national priorities pulling in different directions. Why this is dangerous? That kind of internal instability is exactly what NATO was created to prevent. And this is where many people misunderstand what happens next. Rivals don't attack, they test. If NATO weakens, rivals don't immediately launch wars. They test, they probe airspace, they increase cyber attacks, they push proxy conflicts, they apply pressure just below the level of open war. Russia and China. Russia would push boundaries in Eastern Europe and beyond. China would accelerate pressure around Taiwan and the South China Sea, not because conflict is guaranteed, but because reduced deterrence invites risk-taking. History shows this pattern clearly. When security guarantees weaken, instability rises. Global ripple effect, and this wouldn't stay confined to Europe. Defense spending would increase worldwide. Neutral countries would feel forced to choose sides. Small nations would rush to find protection or build weapons faster. Global markets would react badly to long-term uncertainty. International institutions would lose credibility. So no, the world doesn't end if the USA or the EU quits NATO. But it becomes louder, more unstable, and far more dangerous. NATO isn't perfect, but without it, the cost of peace rises dramatically. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next What Would Happen episode.